What if I told you one of the smallest countries on Earth holds more wealth than some entire continents? No colonies, no ports, no empire, just mountains, chocolate, and a vault for the world's elite. Switzerland looks peaceful. Perfect trains, snow-capped peaks, quiet villages. But behind that calm lies something extraordinary. Over 7 centuries, this landlocked nation turned neutrality into power and trust into a multi-trillion-dollar business. Today, it hosts more billionaires per capita than almost anywhere. The fortunes from tech founders to royal families rest in anonymous accounts and vaults beneath the Alps. Even in crisis, money flows here, as if gravity itself pulls it in. But how did a nation with no natural wealth or trade routes become the planet's safest vault? Was it luck, strategy, or a centuries-long plan to turn peace into profit? On a map, Switzerland shouldn't work. It's small, sea-free, and surrounded by giants. It had no gold, no oil, no colonies, and yet is somehow one of the wealthiest, most stable places on Earth. For every 80,000 Swiss, there's a billionaire. The average household holds nearly $700,000 above the US, Hong Kong, or Germany. A nation split by languages and mountains should struggle, but it thrives. The secret isn't what Switzerland did, it's what it refused to do. While Europe fought endless wars, the Swiss perfected the art of staying out. Its neutrality wasn't moral posturing, but instead, it was survival. Empires wanted a piece of these valleys, so locals built something stronger than armies: unity and trust. Over centuries, that mindset turned isolation into opportunity: privacy, self-rule, precision. These became the national brand. And it all started with a single pact in a field more than 700 years ago. In 1291, 3 small communities near Lake Lucerne swore to defend each other. No kings, no lords, just solidarity. That agreement, the Federal Charter, was radical for its time. Cooperation over conquest. A generation later, their unity was tested in 1315 at the Battle of Morgarten. The Austrian Empire attacked. However, using the mountains to their advantage, the Swiss farmers ambushed from above and won. Against all odds, peasants defeated knights, proving strategy could beat size. More cantons soon joined, each keeping local control but pledging mutual defense. They didn't seek to conquer, only to survive. From those alliances grew a national identity built on loyalty and independence. By the early 1500s, Swiss fighters were Europe's most feared. But one devastating loss would change everything and set the stage for the world's most profitable form of peace. In 1515, the Swiss fell to the French at Marignano. Instead of revenge, they made peace, abandoning dreams of conquest for something new: neutrality. At first it was practical. Warfare drained men and money. But soon, neutrality became identity and business. You see, while Switzerland stopped fighting for itself, it didn't stop fighting altogether. It started renting out its legendary soldiers to other European powers. Swiss mercenaries fought for other nations, earning fortunes that eventually flowed home. Even today, the Papal Swiss Guard stands as its last remnant. While Europe burned through centuries of wars, Swiss neutrality turned the Alps into a refuge for negotiations, documents, and wealth. Stability itself became Switzerland's greatest export. By the 1800s, that reliability was currency. And when people realized neutrality could protect not only borders but money, Switzerland's modern empire began, built not on conquest but confidence. Peace alone doesn't make a fortune. The real engine was secrecy. Through the 1800s, the Swiss crafted banking laws forbidding the exposure of clients' identities. Privacy became a right, not a privilege. Breaking it was a crime. For Europe's wealthy families surrounded by upheaval, that was irresistible. Its geography helped too. Surrounded by the Alps, Switzerland was a natural fortress that granted absolute discretion. By World War I, Switzerland was marketed as the world's safe box. While others taxed citizens to fund wars, the Swiss promised silence and delivered. The banking law of 1934 made secrecy federal law. Revealing a client's name could lead to prison. To the Swiss, it wasn't shady, it was neutrality put to practice. But secrecy casts long shadows. During World War II, the gold that had been looted from the occupied nations mingled with legitimate deposits. After the war, calls for transparency grew louder and Switzerland resisted, arguing privacy was its core value. By the mid-1900s, banking had eclipsed watchmaking. Fortune after fortune flowed in, and trust became Switzerland's most lucrative export. Every secret has a cost. For Switzerland, that cost was reputation. During and after the Second World War, buried accounts held stolen gold, lost inheritances, and unclaimed assets. Pressures from abroad mounted, but for decades Swiss banks stayed silent. By the 1990s, investigations uncovered the existence of dormant accounts tied to refugees who never returned. Now, under global scrutiny, Switzerland faced what it feared most: cracks in its facade of trust. Banks apologized, paid restitution, and rewrote laws. Yet the Swiss miracle endured. They turned crisis into reinvention, softened secrecy, and kept stability. Even as scandals hit other markets, deposits kept rising. Because what the rich valued wasn't secrecy anymore, it was predictability. The Alps remained the still point of a chaotic world, and even as the veil lifted, Switzerland's calm became its newest form of currency. When transparency became unavoidable, Switzerland evolved again. It shifted from hidden wealth to open expertise, with finance, tech, and science replacing secrecy as the national brand. Modern Zurich glitters with glass skyscrapers beside medieval facades. Old trust meeting, new ambition. The economy broadened, investment firms, pharma giants, and startups all thriving on the same formula: competence plus consistency. Decentralized power keeps it balanced. 26 cantons compete for residents and business, offering fair taxes and autonomy. The system stays lean. Citizens stay wealthy. With citizenships voting directly on policies, stability is self-reinforcing. The nation that thrives without domination, grounded in control rather than excess. But even precision has limits, and the world beyond the Alps doesn't wait. Despite its billionaire density, Switzerland lives with outward modesty. Clean streets, smart trains, and quiet order. Yet inequality hides behind the calm. 1% controls nearly half the wealth. The balance works because the system shares just enough: strong healthcare, good schools, a living wage, and above all, participation. In a direct democracy, every citizen is a stakeholder. It keeps the peace and the billionaires comfortable. But costs climb, housing tightens, and the younger generation wonders if neutrality can still protect them from global turbulence. Some say the influx of foreign money is turning cities into luxury enclaves. Others argue the same wealth funds the nation's comfort. Switzerland survives by walking that knife edge, a country thriving on inequality while preventing it from becoming unrest. Yet even here, new forces are rewriting the rules of wealth. For centuries, Switzerland's power came from standing still. But today, stillness might be its biggest risk. Money no longer needs mountains. It travels as code, cryptocurrency, digital ledgers, invisible trades. Privacy can now be recreated in cyberspace. If trust becomes algorithmic, what happens to the world's physical vault? True to form, the Swiss aren't resisting. They're adapting. Towns like Zurich, nicknamed Crypto Valley, welcome blockchain companies with low taxes and precise regulation. The same neutrality that once guarded gold now protects data. Even so, global transparency erodes old habits. Major powers demand banking data, and secrecy laws fade. Switzerland must keep its reliability without its shadows, because loyalty, not opacity, built its fortune. And still, the country remains what it has always been: quiet, stubborn, and remarkably stable. Its success isn't magic, it's discipline. In a world that rushes, Switzerland's patience is revolutionary. Maybe the future vault won't be carved in stone, but rather written in code. But wherever wealth hides next, history suggests one thing: the Swiss will guard it, silently, precisely, and without ever breaking their calm.